Tony Dungy stopped by the man cave before he headed to the airport. He brought in his son, and during the live look-in coming up after the interview, you'll get to see his 8-year-old do his touchdown impersonations. They're great. But started out with Tony Dungy. I asked him how important the win was last night for the Cowboys.
Oh, it was huge because division record is the second tiebreaker. And the Cowboys had already lost a game to Washington. If they lose to the Giants, they would have pretty much had to sweep Philadelphia in these next 2 times they play to win the division. And that comeback win last night was just huge.
The Odell Beckham Jr. catch, I know Chris Collinsworth, who's seen a lot of football, said it's the greatest catch he's ever seen.
It's right up there. I've seen Chris Carter catch balls like that, but the thing with Beckham, he's such a big, athletic guy. You don't expect to see that kind of flexibility and just hand-eye coordination. He's a special guy, and our cameras caught him practicing that before the game, and it's amazing when a guy says, hey, I know I can catch balls like this. If I need to, I'm just going to pluck it. It was an unbelievable play.
But is that a better catch than David Tyree in the Super Bowl against the Patriots?
You know, I really don't think so because Tyree's was contested, and it was a great catch in one hand and all that, but when you got a guy on you and you still have to negotiate the ball and pull it in, I think Tyree's was a little better, and especially under the circumstance.
Yeah, poor Rodney Harrison. We had to bring that back up last night to him because he was the one on David Tyree. And I'm trying to think of other great catches because there have been. A lot of times, you know what, we see the call right now or the catch right now, and all of a sudden that's the greatest catch we've ever seen. Santonio Holmes in the end zone to win the Super Bowl was an unbelievable catch.
You'd have to put it right up there, keeping your feet in. We just aren't used to seeing guys catch balls one-handed.
But you played with Lynn Swann, and Swanee had some of the greatest catches in NFL history.
And you know what? It reminded me when I saw Beckham in the warm-up, John Stallworth used to do that in practice. He'd slow down and reach out and catch balls one-handed. And I thought when I was a rookie, I said, man, this guy's a showboat. And then we're playing a game, and I'm on the sideline, and the ball looks like it's overthrown. And I can remember thinking, I know John's going to catch this with one hand. And he did. He caught a ball like that against the Raiders in Oakland, one-handed.
Didn't have gloves back then, did
they? No, not like they have now.
But that does factor in a little bit, right? I mean, there's some stick 'em to those gloves.
Absolutely, those gloves help you catch the ball. Yeah, but that was an unbelievable catch. Gloves, no gloves.
A couple of weeks ago, we were trying to figure out who's the best team in the NFL. If I was looking at AFC, NFC right now, do you have a clear line that says that's the best team and that's the best team in that conference?
Patriots are playing the best football of anyone, and they're adjusting their game plans weekly to do what they have to do. They've been very consistent. They don't make mistakes. On the NFC side, it seems to vary week in and week out. Green Bay is playing very well, and they're playing well at home. It's going to be a big test for them when they've got New England coming in. But right now, they seem to be playing the most solid. But a week ago, I thought Kansas City was playing as well as anybody before they went to Oakland.
He's Tony Dungy from Football Night in America joining us here in the Man Cave. There was the play at the end of the Detroit-New England game where you had the center for the Lions going after the knee of one of the defensive linemen for the Patriots and later said, hey, you know what? They shouldn't have been going for a touchdown. The game was over. They should have taken a knee. Where do you stand on this?
Well, they should have taken a knee. And, that's part of sportsmanship. That's what you do in the NFL. But you can't control the other team, so you got to be out there and ready to play. I don't believe you take someone's knee out. That's, the coach's decision. The defensive lineman didn't have anything to do with that. So I don't think Dominic Raiola, I don't think you do that. You get angry, do you fight and all that? It happens. Yeah, I've seen Joe Green go off in that situation too. So
do you have a problem with Belichick? This is Belichick's philosophy and style. Rodney Harrison, who played for him, said that's just who Bill is.
Yeah, that's fine. That's if that's who you are. And we had this before with Tampa Bay when Greg Schiano was there. Well, hey, we play the whole thing out and we blow up the victory formation. That, and that's how it goes. You play against the opponent. So. No, I don't have a problem with it.
Belichick ever do that to you?
No, but he did get mad at me when we're in a preseason game, and instead of taking a knee, I'm running out the clock with guys who it's probably their last time they're ever going to be on the field.
So preseason
game, yeah, and he was hot at me for not taking a knee.
Did he say anything to you?
No, he didn't shake my hand after the game, but
and this is preseason, and you're going to get these guys just a little bit of playing time because they're probably going to get
mother's
cut.
in the stands. and Keyshawn was on our team at that time, and he had played for Belichick, and he said, "Oh, he's mad at you."
Did you ever discuss that with Bill? Or
No,
is that just,
no. It's just part of the game, you know.
You just move on.
Yeah, you just move on.
Think you could take Belichick if you had to?
No.
You don't think?
No, he's a tough guy.
Oh, he is. Well, look, we'll cut off your sleeves. We'll give you a hoodie. You got your hoodie on right now. You could take him. Clock management by the Falcons, Tony. Look, I don't think Mike Smith's back, but here's a team that's still in playoff contention. But I just don't understand the Falcons week in and week out. I really don't.
Well, they had a chance to win that game, obviously. Matt Bryant, 52 yards is a long field goal, but you got confidence that he's going to make it. Do you then at that point try to run the time down? You know you're going to be up by 1 point. You want to run as much time as you can.
And make them take a timeout.
Make them take the timeouts. That would have been the smarter play. We were both sitting there surprised that they didn't run the ball. You run Steven Jackson, maybe you make 4 or 5 yards, you keep going, and it becomes a moot point. So had Devin Hester caught the ball, had they gotten a pass interference penalty, we wouldn't even be talking about this. But you've got to exhaust all of those things you've got to think about, going ahead and running that clock down at that point.
Yeah, it's just amazing that they've had a couple of those moments. The game in London, but the South is so bad that they're still in.
They're still in it,
yeah.
And if those are 2 wins, you're sitting in great shape.
Seattle, with that performance against Arizona yesterday, what did we see from Seattle yesterday that we haven't been seeing?
They got back to their formula. Their defense, I thought, played very aggressive. They got some pass rush with 4 men. Their secondary played physical, tight coverage, and they ran the ball well. Russell Wilson didn't have to make a lot of plays. He made the big plays. That's what they're going to need. And this game coming up, this is a huge game against against San Francisco. And which team is going to be true to their identity? Who's going to get their running back going? Who's going to put pressure on the other team's quarterback? It's going to be a physical, tough, hard-fought game.
I just can't imagine turning around and having to play that game on Thursday night. I've been saying it for a couple of years now. I just don't think Thursday night is fair to the coaches and the players.
Well, and it's tough on the visiting team. You've got to travel on Wednesday. You've got a short week. Now, the thing about this game, these guys know each other. So game planning and getting ready, that's not going to be an issue.
But physically,
it's going to be tough. And you just sell yourself on, hey, we know it's going to be tough. We know it's going to be an aggressive game. We're going to have 10 days off afterwards, and that'll catapult us into December. But this is going to be a war. It really is.
The RG3 situation is not getting any better, even though they were leading that game late, but he did not play well at all. Now, granted, Aldon Smith was in the backfield as much as RG3 was, but how does this end in Washington?
I don't think it ends well. You have got a situation where the head coach really isn't supporting the quarterback. It's tough to survive that. The quarterback's not going to survive, especially, you've got pass protection problems. You're not going to be prolific on offense no matter who the quarterback is. So I don't think, and Griffin, the money that they're going to have to pay him down the road, I don't think they can do it.
But if you don't think he's your future, do you bench him now and start looking at either you just say, all right, let's see if Kirk Cousins is the future, and if he's not, then we're going to be moving on in the direction of a quarterback next year?
Well, I think they are going to be moving on. I mean, they saw Kirk Cousins for a while. They saw Colt McCoy for a couple of games. We've seen Colt McCoy in a lot of games. So, they're going to be sitting with a high pick. And I just think they're going to use it on the quarterback.
How much is this is physical? How much is this is mental for RG3?
It's probably a combination of both. But the thing that RG3 brought to the game that was so different was that great physical skill. And you had to defend a lot of different things. You had to defend him running and scrambling around. And the play-action pass game, you had to commit so much to Alfred Morris and then another guy to RG3 to stop him from running. You got a lot of easy one-on-one throws. Now, without that, it's different. It's different for him, and what he brought to the table is probably isn't there anymore.
You got 2 games tonight, Jets at the Bills in Detroit. Have you ever had any kind of experience where you had to play on a neutral site other than a Super Bowl?
No, we never had to do that, and you always kind of talk about that, think about that, go through those routines, and in your preseason and talk to your players, but when it comes up, there's really no formula for it. You've just got to say, we've got to dig down and play football. And that's what it's going to come down to for both of these teams.
And then you got Ravens Saints. It's big for both, but here's the Saints again at home. They've lost back-to-back games at home. Is this their season tonight?
Well, I don't think it's their season because of the way the division is going, but they've got to get some confidence back. They've got to win a home game. In the AFC North, Cincinnati, Cleveland, they're keeping the pressure on Pittsburgh and Baltimore. So I think it's a bigger game for Baltimore, actually.
Would you be in favor of sort of seeding the playoffs instead of saying you win your division? Now, I know that we this happens every couple of years where we have a bad division. Seattle had a bad record a couple of years ago. But what if we did that, where we put the top teams and ranked them?
To me, it's creating a completely different philosophy, and that's okay if you want to do that. As coaches, you've always said, hey, our first goal is to win the division because that gets you a home game, that gets you into the playoffs. And if we split these divisions up into 4 like we have them, I think you got to reward the division winners. So I'm fine the way it is. Win your division, you get in. If you don't win your division, you've got to have a better record than the other non-winners. So everybody knows the rules.
We'll get you your phone calls, best and worst of the weekend. Coming up during the live look-in, Tony's son will be on display with his end zone celebrations. They're awesome. Tone, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, DP. Always great to be here.